bunch of black men that have been attacking Asians. What are you doing? Like, we're trying to like help like with the BLM.
Charlie Chester will shock you even more. This time, we see Chester reconciling the truth that actually exists compared to what happens in his own network.
I was trying to do some research on like the Asian hate, like the people are getting attacked or whatever. A bunch of black men that have been attacking Asians. So I'm like, what are you doing? Like, we're trying to like help like with the BLM and like we're gonna like, I mean, it's individuals, it's not a people, you know. That's not good. The optics of that are not good. These little things like that are enough to set back movements, you know. Because the far left will start to latch on and create a story of like criminalizing an entire people, you know. Just easier headlines that way, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
So you're saying that the far left would label a whole genre of people? I kind of missed your point.
That like, no, the conservatives. I'm sorry, not the far left. But I've noticed that like you'll get headlines that might lump people together as opposed to focusing on the individual. I mean, that's what Trump ended up doing with like the China virus, and that put so much flame on an entire group of people as opposed to a few careless individuals.
Right, the actual source, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but is it normal for the media to like, so say there's a white shooter, black shooter, which one are we gonna, like?
Yeah, for the longest while, like the story was like people were like lapping up that it was like white guys for like so long. I haven't seen anything about focusing on the color of people's skin that aren't white. They just aren't saying anything. You know what I mean? They're just not. All of a sudden, that story loses a little steam, and they just like leave it be.
Why?
I don't know. I think it's got to be trends, like what people will latch onto.
You're telling your child, you were telling me, or something. You're saying like how media is the greatest weapon. Where were you going to go with that?
I mean, it's just propaganda. Like it can really. Sorry, my chime just went off.
What do you mean by that?
Like you can shape an entire people's perception about anything on how you do it, right? Like,
how do you do that?
just by like forcing the story to help like your platform. Like you can all of a sudden say like coal is the future of like energy. Well, that could be propaganda because like who owns the company might have stake in like coal mining. So like Trump getting blasted all over, like constant feeds of like Twitter, Fox giving him a platform is what fueled that fire.
Is CNN the most trusted name in news? Their own employees are telling us that they're not. But the same employees that tell us that they're not are also participating in the propaganda that they're ashamed of. And that's perhaps the greatest tragedy of all. That Charlie Chester is willing to say these things privately. He's willing to say the quiet part out loud privately. But they don't have the courage to say so publicly. And as Jim Sciutto told me when I was walking out of this door, he's been a journalist for 25 years. Well, Jim Sciutto, your own colleagues should have the courage to say publicly what they'll tell us privately. And if you're a journalist, you should stand up and do exactly that. Stand by the credo of journalism. Inform the people. You have an obligation and a duty to the people without fear or favor. I doubt Charlie Chester will be the last employee we hear from at CNN. Stay tuned, America.